Aloha, stewards of the land, all you beautiful humanitarians and solutionists. I'm going to welcome you all to another episode of A Dose of Positivity, where I have the great privilege and the honor to interview passionate change makers, thought leaders, health professionals, and social and environmental innovators that will rock your world. So again, we are here live and we are also live streaming. So I wanted to remind everybody to put anything that you might have, any questions or things that you would like to discuss or share with the audience in regards to our topic and our special guest today, who is Raja. Can you come off and say how to pronounce your last name? And this is going to be a perfect story why that I'm going to reach you. How do you say your full name?
Certainly, it's just Raja Vaidya.
Vaidya, beautiful. I got to get that. Everybody knows I stumble over my words sometimes, but you still show up and bless your heart. I love you so much for that, because this is all about flipping your fear to your superpower despite
Certainly
imposter
is.
syndrome, right? So it's like we're none of us are perfect, and that is for sure. But before we get started, again, I want to just remind you all and thank you all so much for showing up to the live broadcast. And we are streaming on several different channels, and so we're going to have comments and questions coming in, and we get back to every one of them. I personally love all the feedback that you guys are giving me and giving us, as Tel and Meredith and I, my team, our beautiful team, is really growing and got exciting announcements to share with you at the end of our show. But before we get started, while more people are coming on, I see lots of people coming in right now. I want to read you this one story that is going to set us up for this incredible interview with this really talented, vibrant human, Raja. Thank you so much for being here. And this is about mindset, right? And overcoming fear. And this is something I want you all to be thinking about during this whole time. So if things come up for you that you can share that are going to help other people overcome their fear and turn their mindsets around, please share your story with us, okay? And here's one of mine. Dumb is no fun. It can be overcome. Adding to the plethora of my childhood memories was my struggle with schoolwork. In third grade, I received a D in language arts. Worse than the D, my self-esteem plummeted. When I had to read out loud in front of the class, my palms got sweaty as I stumbled over my words. The conditions and rules at school and sometimes at home did not work for me. Schoolwork just exasperated my shortcomings rather than focusing on my strengths. My mom was super supportive. That was her superpower. And she helped as best she could, but she finally gave up and got me a tutor. Here's the clincher. No one realized that I was dyslexic. Remember, this is 1964 probably. Until after I failed several spelling tests. Back in those days, they did not understand dyslexia as they do today. It was my tutor that figured it out. I had been copying the spelling words off the blackboard incorrectly for years. If tested on what I copied and studied, I would have gotten 100%. My nice teacher, when she found out, she moved me to the front of the room, and it helped. And she made sure I wrote the words correctly. That helped my mindset. My brother, though, he teased me about that D, and I felt dumb for a good part of my childhood. D for dumb, Donna. I wish D simply stood for dyslexia. Sports and faithful friends made up for the hurt and the humiliation. But when I got to college, I researched dyslexia, and I found that I had been blessed with some of the overlooked gifts and strengths of having a learning disability. One study I read was by Sally Swartz. She was the co-director of Yale Center for Dyslexia and Creativity, and she found numerous benefits, characteristics in people with dyslexia, some which I have. Curiosity, great imagination, ability to figure things out, eagerness to embrace new ideas, absolutely, getting the gist of things, a good understanding of new concepts, surprising maturity, a large vocabulary, enjoyment in solving puzzles, absolutely, and excellent comprehension of stories when being read to. Once my mind shift changed, I aced my college years. So without further ado, I'm going to introduce you to somebody who has overcome adversity and he teaches how to overcome adversity and share all his superpowers with us. Raja happens to be triple talent. He is a science for mind, karate and the body, and music for the soul. And hopefully, Raj, I don't know if you're going to close to your piano, but that would be awesome at the end if you could play for us. His beta launch of Black Belt Mindset Mastery yielded 100% success rate in guiding clients to face their fears. After 37 years of teaching martial arts, he discovered a pattern in teaching white belt mindset to achieve black belt mind shift. And he translated that into a business, life, and relationships. And now he is a professional speaker who keynoted TEDx New Jersey. He won Toastmasters International Speech Competition area twice, and he's a multiple Black Belt Hall of Fame. He starred in the martial arts movie, in the Martialist movie, and soon to release his book, Unbox Me Today, like unbox me. I love that. All of this despite a lifetime stutter to prove to you and me and anyone, anybody, any obstacles can be overcome with the right mind shift. Welcome to our show, Raj. We are so happy to have you here. Thank you so much for taking the time from your day. You're in my home state, New Jersey, and welcome from Hawaii to New Jersey. We welcome you to our show. So tell us more about you and how you got into this mind shift coaching mindset mentality, and also into your coaching that you do and help so many people, honey.
Certainly. First of all, welcome everyone. Thank you. I appreciate all of you being here. I'm going to give you 2 rings of the victory bell because you are twice the rock stars for showing up live and being here engaged with all of us. And Donna, great intro. I want to say I was the TEDx speaker at JNJ. It was TEDxJNJ at Johnson & Johnson. So, yes. And so that was my first TEDx event. I also won the area contest for Toastmasters International Speech Contest 2 years in a row. And since then, I was they elected me the Toastmasters president at Johnson & Johnson last year, and the year before I was the area director. And just 2 months ago, well, 1 month ago, I just won 3rd place in the Ultimate Speaker Challenge, Ultimate Speaker Competition of Philadelphia. And this is just hot off the press here. And the reason why I'm so proud about that, this was July 24th. And I'm proud because I went in there completely cold. I had 3 hours sleep because we had a wedding to go to those 3 days before. So I drove home Saturday night at 12:30 midnight, got home at 3 a.m., woke up early, then I drove to the competition, 3 hours sleep, no coffee, and no preparation. So all I had to do was just go back to my trainings and start to think, all right, what's an intro? What are 3 things I can talk about? And hopefully I can get a good ending. Well, it worked. And I ended up doing very well there. And as a result, now one of the book publishers that was there wants to publish my next 3 books as a result.
That's so great.
And then someone else also wanted to connect with me about being on a Amazon Prime speaker series, which would be a huge launch for me as well. So Donna, you asked about how go ahead.
I was just going to say, just take us back to like your childhood and the struggles and things that and
That's
why this is such a huge accomplishment. I really think people would appreciate that.
right. So for all of you out there that are hearing me now, I'm a much more fluent speaker than I used to be when I was younger. I had a like very severe stutter growing up, and as a result of that, in second grade, when I was 7 years old, they put me into these special education classes with all of the slower students. So because they thought that I was slow-minded, and it took me years to get out of that, and just because of the way I talked. And finally, second, third, fourth grade, fifth grade, finally they put me into the normal classes, and into that. Finally, by sixth, seventh grade, I started to be one of the top students in both math and science. So they realized, this, we need to put this kid into the advanced track classes. So then I got transferred into all the challenge courses, which is basically like advanced placement, except for like middle schoolers. Finally, in ninth grade and high school, all of my friends were in the gifted program, and so I asked the teachers and the guidance counselors, why can't I enter that? They said they tested for you for that years ago, and I said, well, I wasn't here. I came here when I was 7 years old, so I must have missed that test. So can I take it now? And they said, oh, it's never been done. I said, so what? Why not? So I had to deal with the principal, the guidance counselor, a couple teachers, plus I had to get my dad involved, threaten a lawyer involvement, and then they finally let me take the IQ test. And lo and behold, they discovered that I was in the wrong placement. I should have been in a much higher advanced bracket. Ever since then, they put me into every advanced placement class they could. I did something impossible, is that my junior year I took advanced placement biology and advanced placement chemistry at the same time. I not only did that, I also took both Spanish and French. So, and I taught myself Latin, and I did a few other projects. I made a bridge for the Science Olympiad that won first place in both the region and in the state. So
That's so.
and I had
So
to
what
fight my
was
way through
it?
it.
I know.
So for
It's
those of
so
you
bold.
who struggle to gain that respect,
Yeah. So
go ahead.
like, how did you like overcome it though? Like, were your friends? I mean, did people bully you or pick on you, or did you have a good support network?
I had nothing. I basically thought I was really alone. Uh, the biggest problem I had was that I thought that basically nobody cared. I thought that the teachers didn't care. I thought the students didn't care, and I thought my family didn't care. And for the most part, uh, I had to find a way to change my life on my own. Now, here's the hilarious part. Um, when I was in uh, uh, fifth, fifth grade, like one of my worst tormentors, I don't know why, this kid just targeted me all the time. Would pick on me, would sit behind me in Spanish class, he'd punch me in the back, and the teacher wouldn't see it, so he'd always get away with it. He got 3 other kids and him during recess to make a stuttering song and sing it during recess, in front of the entire class or the entire grade. And meanwhile, the recess aide is clueless. Doesn't know what to do. She thought it was some sort of choir thing, and she's, meanwhile, all the other kids are laughing. So if you ever see that scene in Carrie where she's like the one person in like the middle being tormented by the entire class, that was me. So I decided then and there that that was going to change. So after I saw The Karate Kid, when that came out, I realized, wow, that's going to be the thing that's going to change my life. And truly, it was, because I went to my mom and I asked her, say, hey, can I take karate? She said, no, no, beta, they're going to hurt you. And instead, my dad, I asked him the next day, Dad, can I take karate? He said, okay. We went to class, saw it, and then he signed me up for a year. Yes.
Yeah.
So as a result of that, I became the hardest working student in class. I'd be the first one there, the last one to leave. And that was really part of my understanding about how to improve something that you didn't like. I had to do push-ups. I hated push-ups. And one of the black belts there used to have a sick fascination with picking on me to make me do push-ups. So one of the mind shifts I did, I started to tell him, "Hey, thank you. I like push-ups. Thanks. I like push-ups." Then when
Mm.
he'd tell me, it's like, "Oh, you've been talking too loud. You've been running around. You're not quiet enough. Go do 20 push-ups." I'd say, "Thanks. I like push-ups." All of a sudden, he knew he had no control over me, and I got really good at push-ups.
It is really a good conversation that we're having, and I'm sure all the people who are listening right now, live or at the replay on this, there's got to be not one person out there who didn't have to overcome adversity of some kind, whether it's stuttering, dyslexia, being the chubbiest kid in class, anorexia, bulimia, being bullied, having abusive parents. I mean, everybody has a story, and your story is so close to my heart, because I had, just hearing what you're saying, what I went through in school and some of the things that happened to me too. But I found sports too, right? So I found dance, and it is amazing how we're, no matter what rock bottom we come from, there's this spirit, and that's that energy that I want to kind of tap into with you. Like, where does that come from? Where does that human superpower for each and every one of us who has a different story come together as a universal something that makes us survive it all?
I think it truly comes from your sense of what's called willpower. Growing up, I used to love watching movies about the underdog. Rocky, one of my favorite movies of all time. Rudy, same thing. Here's a kid who wants to be on the football team at Notre Dame, but he's dyslexic, had poor grades. He was the smallest. He was on the smaller side, and he never really compared as a football player, but he found a way to get there. And it was the same thing for me. It's like, I wasn't the biggest. I was a super skinny. I weighed, and this is to remind, in ninth grade, I weighed 118 pounds, 5'5". And I was super skinny. So I was built for cross country. So I tried out cross country and found out I was built well for that. So I just kept on going, kept trying different things to find out. And, Vince Lombardi has a great quote. Like, anybody who knows who he is, he's been one of the most famous football coaches of all time, one of the most successful coaches of all time. He said that you can coach a lot of things, but you can't coach desire. And today I was just talking to my son about, Evan, you have a lot of talents. So it's like the engine in like a NASCAR race car. You have all the ability, all the potential, but the attitude that you use, that's the fuel that goes into the car. So you have the engine, all the potential is there, but you put in poor fuel, a poor attitude, the car is going to drive slow. You put in quality fuel, a good attitude, it's going to race, and it's going to go a lot faster. And that's when you're going to win your race for life. And here's the cool thing I want to show you. If I can change my background here for you, if Zoom lets me, because it's starting to freeze up a little. There we go. After I got good at karate, 16 years old, I went to the World Championships and I placed. And then I made a 2-year plan to go to the Olympic trials, at least try to get there. So for 2 years, 16, 17, 18 years old, I busted my butt. I went to karate 6 days a week, 4 or 5 hours a day, training. Once again, first person in, last one out. And then
but where does that come from? Where does that come from? How come you could do that? Like, that's what I'm trying to get at. This is your story of how you did that, but so many people are like, what is that made you do that? Was it trying to prove something to your mom, your dad, to yourself, or is it something? What is it?
Well, here's the thing for me. I felt that I was always inadequate, like I wasn't good enough. So for me, when I was younger, it was always about proving that I was good enough. I just want to be good enough to be normal. So then what I did is I started to focus on achievements. What achievements could I do so that I could look like I'm a normal kid, that the kids would accept me?
Mm-hmm.
And it really strove from that. Simon Sinek talks about finding your why. And I heard about him only a couple of years ago. But as a teenager, I think I had my why. My why was, I'm going to change my life. So my why was now, how am I going to change my life? And I discovered karate was the vehicle to do that. Singing was the vehicle to do that. Getting straight A's and getting a scholarship to college, that was also going to do that for me. So I started to look for opportunities.
Oh boy. Meredith, did I freeze? Meredith, I'm for
Raj's end.
Raj is frozen.
Yeah. It's from his end.
Okay, well we'll see what he does. Raj, come back, come back.
Success.
Oh, good. You froze there for a minute.
I saw that.
So come back to us, Raj,
Yeah.
and come back and so let me just pick off kind of where we left off a little bit. Like, so basically, what you're saying is you really were able to overcome your stuttering, your lifelong stuttering, by kind of finding other ways that you could excel and things that you could prove or show that you were good at, that were going to compensate, and also but also you don't have a severe stutter problem either anymore. So do you think it was the singing, the karate? What is it that really helped you overcome that?
Confidence. I think the biggest thing is confidence, but here's the difference between confidence and self-esteem. Confidence is what other people see about you. Self-esteem is, how do you feel about yourself?
Mm-hmm.
And for me, I had low self-esteem and I had low self-confidence. But by doing all these achievements, I had great confidence, but my self-esteem was still a little bit low. So it still took me a while to get over that. And part of that was learning to accept that I am going to get stuck on my words sometimes. I am going to have like repeats and blocks. I still have troubles with my L's, my M's, my W's, sometimes my R's. There are certain words like statistic. I hate saying that word. It's a horrible word for me. I get stuck on it every time. And why is it? I don't know. That's just the way it is. But
who cares about statistics anyway? You don't have to use it.
But if I can modify that by saying other words or slowing down or controlling my pacing or pausing or substituting that for different words, instead of saying how hard it was to overcome my stutter, I say how hard it was to overcome my speech impediment. For some reason, that just flows a lot better for me.
Yeah, that's good.
So
Very
a lot of
yeah,
it's
you
just
figure out different
on the fly
ways.
changing. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that is so cool. That's you make adjustments. That's brilliant, and you find that's how I kind of overcame my dyslexia too. And anybody else who wants to put in the chat with their story, is just like there are just certain words I just could not. You can't read, or just so I would just like memorize things. And I couldn't do the phonetics, so I realized I had to memorize these words if I was going to learn them. I had to memorize. I couldn't break them apart for some reason. So this is really
my background there. As a result of all of this, this is the first Martialist cast that we did the impossible. We made that hope come alive, that dream of creating a full feature motion film in Hollywood, and now it's on IMDb, and now we have a sequel in the works, and that's me right there holding the staff in the black and white uniform.
Oh, that's so great.
Here's a better picture.
So this is that's so great. Wow. And so getting back to this health and health being our greatest wealth and all of that, share with us like also how your diet and we understand the karate, the exercise, the breath, the mindfulness did that. What about your diet? Did you change it? Like you're back when you're from India, is that correct?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So
And
you grew up on that good Indian cuisine.
I did. I did. I did. But you know what's interesting? Um, uh, Through our food, I wasn't able to get enough protein, I think, because I always felt like I couldn't put on weight. You know, and then now that I'm older, that's not a problem. But at that age, I could not put on weight. And I wanted to get out of the lightweight category. But instead, it worked to my favor because what I started doing was I would ask my dad when he would pick me up from karate class, hey, can we stop by McDonald's or Burger King? Can we grab something? So maybe once or twice a week, I'd get some extra protein in my diet so I could start adding to my body and strength. But mostly what it was just really eliminating the sweets, the sugars, eating consistently breakfast, lunch, and dinner. But breakfast all the time, I was always in a rush. And one thing I didn't realize I was doing was I was doing intermittent fasting like before it was a thing. Because every morning I would skip breakfast because I'd have to rush out and catch the school bus at what 7:13 in the morning, which means I had to leave my home by about 7:01 to walk to the bus stop. And as a result, by the time I got through all my classes, then after school clubs, then sports, and then the weight room, and then my mom would pick me up in front of the high school with like a bowl of like mac and cheese or a hot dog or like a peanut butter jelly sandwich or something. I would eat in the car and go to karate. And I'd get to karate by 5 and I'd stay there till 9. And then after 9 o'clock, class would close. I'd stay there till 9:30, 10 o'clock. I remember one time I stayed there till like 11 o'clock and people just were looking at me crazy, like, what are you doing here? Go home. Don't you have school or something to do? I said, yeah, I do, but I want to win, you know? And so when I get home, I'd be starving. So I would eat my dinner. I would do my homework and I'd finish up my homework by like midnight, 1 a.m. And then after like I wake up the next morning, 6:30. So that was my schedule. And as part of his diet, every single night, one thing I learned early on is that how important hydration was. So every single night, especially after karate class, I'd drink 2 8-ounce glasses of water just before I went to bed. So then that way, every single night, I would do push-ups. In the morning, I would do sit-ups. So I do 50 push-ups every night. Every morning, I would wake up and I would do the 100 crunches. And that was the start of my day. And I kept that going for 2 years as part of my plan, and it worked.
It's so great. So we don't have that much time. I'd like to focus on the last half hour or 20 minutes of the interview, talking about the 4 C's, a health plan, and how other people, how you can kick their asses in gear and help them bring out their story, help them feel like they're, because we've heard your story, how you did and how you overcame, and which is really great. But now you're coaching other people, and you're coaching them to help them through your 4C program. And why don't you dive into that, and let's see if anybody has anything they want to add to that, what they're doing to help them at any age overcome adversity and fear.
Absolutely. So for this, here's what we can do. Does anybody want to be in the hot seat for the next 4 or 5 minutes and go through an obstacle that you're facing? And I guarantee that we can find a way to resolve it. What do you say? Is there anybody out there that wants to be brave enough and be in the hot seat? If not, I'll tell you stories about my clients.
Alan, I think Alan or Colleen, you guys, come on. Somebody come on. Beverly, you did it last time. You were great. Anybody going through some minutia right now that they want some guidance? Alan, this is the time.
Yeah.
Come off mute, Alan. Alan, you're on mute. Still on mute, Alan.
If you want to, just raise your hand so we know who's interested.
Are you
You-
picking on me?
I am picking on you because you're
Hey,
so
Alan.
awesome. You make me laugh every day. This is a one
right.
heck of a human
No.
right here.
Listen, the thing that I'm thinking about, what keeps occurring to me with Raja
Yeah.
is karma.
Mhm.
This man has accepted some really heavy karma and knocked the blank out of it this
Yeah.
lifetime. That's
Mhm.
that's what's coming to me.
All right.
I get the tingle. Okay, Donna, if you aren't getting the tingles and the
All right.
goosebumps like you talked about the other time,
Yeah.
Yeah. So, Alan, let's do this, Alan. First of all, I want to thank you. I appreciate you for being able to step up and share this journey with everyone here. So I'm going to give you a ring of the victory bell because you are a super awesome person. So, Alan, what is?
ding ding.
Yep.
What?
You want the ding ding? You want two rings? All right, ding ding. I got a request. No problem. So, Alan, here's what I do with my coaching clients. All right. We talk about health, wealth, mindset, faith, and family. For the entrepreneurs, I also talk about my 4 C's. Um, uh, com, confident conversions into clients, right? So what I want to focus on you on with this right now is this. If you had to pick one area right now in your life, your business, or your relationships, where you needed some help, would it be in health, wealth, mindset, faith, or family? So if you had to pick one of those, which one would it be?
Well, I would have to say at this point, I'd have to say health.
Okay.
I have going on in my body at the fourth thoracic vertebrae,
Mm-hmm.
a misalignment that I've gone to 2 chiropractors. They can't undo.
Okay.
I've spent over a year and a half between Reiki treatments, which
Mm-hmm.
I've gone through Reiki and was initiated and all that, and massage therapy, and I'm a licensed massage therapist
Mm-hmm.
years ago, and this still will not undo.
Okay.
And it attacked me March
Mm-hmm.
of, should I say 2019? Was that when they locked us down with the COVID crap?
Mhm.
March of 2020. March 2020.
Okay.
Yep.
Sometime within that period,
Yep.
when I wasn't supposed to go out and be human
Mm-hmm.
and associate with people and do what you're supposed to do, and I tried to adhere to the rules and regulations, somewhere along that line, this thing starts locking up. And either I go outside and it's the weather change, or I can just have a simple aggravation,
Okay.
doing something that I don't necessarily want to do.
All right. So let me
I'm
stop you there.
ready.
So from what I'm hearing right now is that you were healthy before, and then after the pandemic started, you started to have problems with your L4, right? Starting to lock up. So that means so not just the spine, but the muscles around it, that would cause you problems. So it would cause you decreased range of motion. It would affect your sleep. It would affect your exercise routine. It would affect your mood, because then wouldn't be as inspired to go out and talk to people. Am I correct?
Correct.
Good. All right. So here's what we're going to do. The first thing that we're going to do is start to underlie what was happening around that time. You said like right around the time when the pandemic hit. I remember March 8th, 2020, precisely, because that was the day that I went back to work, because 10 days later, that's when they closed down Johnson & Johnson, and I had to stay home for 3 more months. So right around that time, March, I remember was we were right near the peak of it. During that time, did you feel that your sense of anxiety went up? Yes or no?
Probably yes, but
Yes,
I'm
probably.
honestly
Not probably. Remember,
can't remember
not
that.
probably. Yes or no? Yes or no?
I did not
I'm going to
like
ask you to
what was
give
going
solid
on.
yes, no answers. Yes?
Yes.
All right. Do you think your sense of stress went up?
Yes.
Okay. Uh, did your sense of anxiety go up because you were not able to socialize as much?
Oh, this is an anxiety thing.
Okay. All right.
This is
So
anxiety.
I'm hitting all the right points. So we're on the same page so far, right?
Mhm.
Good? All right, good. All right. So here's what I want to ask you. During that time, because you were avoiding people, avoiding either going to work or avoiding socializing, did that cause you less activity levels? Were you in a seated position a lot more?
Oh, definitely. I was on the internet. I'm retired. I'm 74.
Gotcha. Okay.
I'm retired. Okay.
So
I
part
like to
of
go out and work. I like to do things.
Mhm.
And basically they told you, go to the grocery store and that's it.
Yeah, I remember those days. Now, I remember for myself, I was in a car accident in 2015, head-on car crash, smashed my head against the windshield. I had glass in my head for 6 months, and I couldn't turn my head to the left for 2.5 years. And everybody thought that I wouldn't be doing anything. Guess what I did? I did 7 triathlons during that time, and I raised over $30,000 for cancer research for Children's Hospital of Philadelphia, because I made a mind shift in myself that it was not about me. It was about the people around me that needed me. It was about those children at the hospital that needed this research to help save their lives, right?
Yeah.
So when you went into sort of like turtle mode, you went inside your shell and you're stuck inside your home, essentially starting during that pandemic, that sitting more and reducing less exercise and getting less social contact, guess what that does? That boosts your like adrenaline. That puts you in a constant state of fight or flight. So that means you have 4 main brain hormones that sort of trigger and they change your mood. One is epinephrine, one is serotonin, one is dopamine that gives you your pleasure response, and also cortisol, which helps to changes how you feel stress. So during this time, when you're feeling stressed out and you're home, you're anxiety, and you've reduced your exercise, you're probably changing your diet because you're eating more food. You see food, and just because it's around, you start to eat food, and already gained a few pandemic pounds, right?
Yeah.
I did. I definitely did. Right? So, do you see what's happening here? Your mindset, what had happened was that you started to set yourself up to feel, well, because I'm this, I'm going to protect myself from going out. And now, by eating more, dieting less, you are now increasing your anxiety, your stress, your cortisol is going up, your serotonin is going down, your and and your dopamine response is less because you're not getting that pleasure moment of meeting people, saying hi to them, being happy with them. So what that does is that puts you in a constant state of anxiety that actually starts to tighten up your muscles in your body. I know because I went through the same thing. I have spinal compression in C4, 5, 6, and 7. After that first accident, I healed. It took me years. I healed. Then in 2018, I got rear-ended and I got whiplash, and now it re-triggered everything. As a result of that, I had to close my karate school. I had to stop doing the triathlons. I couldn't ride my bike anymore because I couldn't put my head down vertically. I could only ride my I couldn't ride my road bike. I could only ride my mountain bike with the handlebars as high as I could. That way I kept my neck vertical. See what I mean? So what happened was that spinal compression, that feeling, that stress was actually manifesting itself right there. And when I looked at nerve diagrams where each of those cervical vertebrae compress upon those nerves, those were the exact places where I was putting pressure on myself. So one of the first things I started doing was try to get something to raise my neck, decompress my spine. Second thing I did is I got a sit-stand station for work. Now being able to stand, not sit so much, that actually like eliminated any back problems that I had almost instantly. I just switched back and forth every hour. I'd be sitting, then I'd be standing. Have you ever tried that?
Well, I mean, when I'm at the computer, I'm sitting, but yeah, I know people that get the setups where they
Got it.
can.
So I'll tell you an
Again,
easy fix for this now, because I think it will help your back. Now, my goal for you is this. You know, I can't cure your ills overnight, but what I can do is I can make you 1% better every day. So now I have a call to action for you. You go to Costco or Walmart or online, you can get these sit-stand solutions that have a spring-loaded base on them, and they raise your computer about 20 inches or so with your keyboard, with your monitor. Now what you're doing is you don't have to spend thousands of dollars. It is $100, and most of us can handle that, right? So what you can do is you get that, and then every day now when you're on your computer, you sit for an hour, you stand for an hour, you sit for an hour, you stand for an hour.
May I interrupt? May I interrupt? This, in my opinion, my thinking, goes back many, many years, decades, to when I was in construction. Yep. And I was in charge of handling supplies in construction industry. Mm-hmm. And one of my helpers knocked over a control panel, and I tried to keep it from hitting the ground, and I ended up underneath it. And I was crushed. My whole spinal column was crushed. Yeah. And yeah, they had to morphine me beyond belief. Anyway, I think this is kind of like a remnant of that.
Yeah, sure.
From decades ago.
It could be. It could be. But the way you treat it now is that you have to find a way to allow it to decompress. Now, our spines are made so that they curve certain ways. When you start to sit for too long, over years in an office, in a chair, we humans are not designed to do that. You know, people say right now, like all the health experts are saying, like, you know, sitting is the new smoking, because it really affects your body that greatly. So are you open?
So I think everybody should stand up right now. Everybody stand up and wiggle your ass.
That now,
back
if I
and
just
forth,
stand up for 5 minutes, every 25 minutes, stand up for 5 minutes. You don't wait an hour to stand up. You break it up every 25. So let's do this. Everybody stand up.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love. You see me?
I gotta
all right,
stand
good.
up.
Here's what we're gonna do. Swing your arms a little bit. Go up, down. Here's the fun part. Grab your hands together. Twist your torso. 1, 2, this side. 3, 4, this side. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now here's something else you can do. From here, raise your knees. Raise your knees. You can see my shorts I'm wearing, right? Because I'm not wearing pants. Not during Zoom meetings, right? Pick up your knees. Pick up your knees. That works your lower abs. Now, even when you're in your office chair, you can do this. Take your abs like this. Push here. And I want you to, from here, inhale. And inhale with your abdomen, not your chest. All right? Because we breathe wrong. You breathe in with your abdomen, your diaphragm pushes down, you expand, and then you increase your reserve volume of your lungs because you're pulling even more. So inhale, exhale, and pulling hard with those abs, right? And what that does is now that tightens the core. And by the way, what is your core? I'm going to ask you a simple question. Does anybody know what your core is? Where's your core? Abdomen. Good. You got 1 out of the 4. Where else? Right oblique, left obliques, and your back. Your core is all the way around you. And what a lot of people do is they don't work their entire core. And then they have weakness. So one of the things you can do is, even on a chair, you can take your leg like this. So this is like in karate, what we do. you put it up on the bar, and we are leaning up against it, right? And we can actually curl in and work on our side obliques, right? So look, you didn't think that you had to exercise here today, did you? This is a surprise. Welcome, all of you. Welcome to Master Vaidya's gym class. And you can do the same thing on the other side. Find a table, a chair, a countertop, and just lean nice and relaxed and curl in. Do 10 of those each time, 10 sets or 10 reps, and you do 3 sets of those, so 30 total. So you just alternate back and forth. All of a sudden, now you're working your front, your sides, and your back. How you work that is very simple. Number one thing is stretch, flexibility. Everybody loses flexibility as they get older. It's normal, but it's also normal to fight it and stay extra flexible because you train it. That's all. So hope you got a lot of hope and a lot of mind shift from that, because now your original mind shift, your internal communication was telling you, I can't improve. I can't fix this. But now, hopefully I've shifted you that now you have a mind shift of, oh, I can improve 1% every day. Because now I can adjust. I can buy that, the $100 sit-stand station that sits on my desk. It's on Costco, it's on Walmart, it's on Amazon. Just find it. I think there's 18-inch ones, there's 22-inch ones. So whichever size you need, you know, fit it to your space, right? And I'm telling you,
I've seen them. I've seen them advertised and displayed. Yes, I know what you're talking about.
Right.
Yes.
But
I've just recently, within about the past maybe not quite 2 months, I've started going to my senior center to do exercises in the morning at 9 o'clock.
Fantastic. Very good. So that's helping you too.
The ones that you did, the ones that you showed, and working our abs and core and lifting the legs and everything.
Yeah. So
can I add something here too, Alan? This is really important because I struggle with the same part. I had a box of books fall on my head when I was 20. Anyway, one of the most important things that helps me when I'm sitting all day is to relax your jaw. Like not your drawers, just drop your jaw. and make sure your shoulders are down. Like most of us, like even like sit like that
when we're typing, you don't realize it. And then when you relax, oh my God, I was holding all that stress up there. What am I doing?
Because your jaw and what in your mouth, it all connects to your neck. And when you relax those shoulders, and I use these miracle balls, these balls, and I use them behind my neck and down all my meridians down my arm. And what you'll notice, I don't know if you notice this too, but when you have neck problems, thoracic problems, it goes down your arms and it affects your hands and your grip. And so that's what happened to me. And the balls really help in just relaxing that jaw. And I'll show you after we're done, I'll show you all my tools. My stand-up desk was less than that. I have a stand-up desk. So, but that was really helpful. That was really great.
So Alan,
and I really loved what you said.
With Alan 1 second. So Alan, did it create a mind shift in you that now you know you have some control over this?
Yeah, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Helping me better. I've also realized, and I try to do this consciously, because I went through a Rolfing system, the whole 9 yards of it, that the stomach in, chest out, shoulders back bit is something that I need to do. I have not been doing that probably all of my life, even though from first grade on, I was football and basketball and all this other stuff. Somewhere along the line, I decided to bend over. If you know what I mean.
I know what you mean. Leave it all behind.
Down,
but you know what
whatever.
though? You aren't too old. Our oldest student in our karate school is actually 73. So if he can do it, why can't you? Right? You can change your health. You can change your life at any age. Now listen, I'm not going to live very long. I'm only going to live to 125.
That'll work.
Only 125.
That'll work.
Right? So that
Ain't
means,
gonna make Moses, but you're good.
yeah, like I'm, I'm not like a Methuselah who lived 900 years, but or Yoda who lived 950 years, but I'm expecting. So I'm mind shifting. I expect that my health is going to be good enough that I'm going to live that long. And another joke I say is like, at 122, my life insurance capitalizes, so I get back the full principal as well as the interest. Cha-ching! So there's a lot of charities I can help. I can set up, college funds for my great grandchildren. There's a lot of charities that can help. There's a lot of schools I can build in India. There's a lot of students in the inner city here that I would love to introduce to the arts, so it keeps them off the streets and keeps them away from drugs. Because if they have an instrument, then they learn history, they learn timing, they learn math, they learn teamwork, and they learn to express their soul. And I love that about music, is that it transcends everybody's background, religion, or culture, or creed, or whatever. And it's one thing where we can all share and let our spirit fly.
Music has always been universal.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, speaking of music, talk about your music. We just have a couple of minutes. And is your piano near? Are you going to be able to play us a song, or is that not going to happen today?
It's not going to happen today, only because I have, unfortunately, I'm upstairs in my office. If I show you my office here, there you go. There's my office. I'm upstairs.
Yeah.
The grand piano is downstairs, so it will be a little, unless I could kind of do it on my phone and switch Zoom links and come in again. I think that might just be a little bit too much. So let's just say that I will give you my Facebook profile name in the chat. It's just Raja Vaidya, and look in June. If you type in hashtag world premiere, there's a beautiful piece that I composed, and I have no piano training background, so I'm self-taught. I taught myself the piano and the guitar. That's part of the reason why in high school I got so good at singing, is that I wanted to learn and get better at it. So as a result, I think I just somehow kind of learned relative pitch. So, and that piece that I wrote was about my friend who died when I was 17 years old. And I'll tell you this, that during my teen years, I had even contemplated suicide because my life was so bad. Then I found out my friend died, and it just shook everything out of whack. I said, oh my God, why? How? What was going on in his head? Why didn't I know? Why? I could have helped. I asked his mother, I asked my karate teacher, I asked other people, like, is there, who knows what happened and why? And no one ever gave me a good answer. So the piece is called You Are Enough. And it's so when I play it, I kind of think about how, truly all of us, sometimes when we question our value or our self-worth, or that we are starting to compare ourselves to the neighbor next door, and we start to wonder, like, is the grass greener on the other side? It's really not. You have so many, you have so much talent, you have so much amazing abilities already. And the subtitle to my book is, like, my book is called Unbox Me Today, and the subtitle is You Are Amazing. Learn black belt mind shift strategies to get even better. So right now, a lot of coaches would tell you, all right, well, in health, wealth, mindset, faith, and family, tell me where you are on a scale of 1 to 10. And they say, oh, in this I'm a 5, and this I'm a 8, and this I'm a 3, and this I'm a 1. You just self-validated that you're a failure. I want to change that for you. So right now, let's just pick one thing right now. If I had to ask all of you, just put down in the chat right now, in the area of health, on a scale of 1 to 10, where do you think you are? So put that in the chat. Let me see where you're at. 7. Good. Anybody else? 8. Ooh, super healthy. I love it. Anybody else? 8. Nice. You guys are great. 5 here. Okay. Tell them. All right. Anybody else? Oh, 10. Oh, Leslie. You were a superstar, huh? All right. I love it. And Kev. Ooh, nice, Kev. All right. So you guys are very optimistic. right? Because you really think you're very healthy, and that's fantastic. What if I said to you that your health is really at a 1 right now? Because what we're doing is we're setting a baseline for you. So whether you think that's a good baseline or bad baseline, it doesn't matter. Because what we're going to do is we're going to use that like Japanese technique of of a kaizen, Kaizen. And what that is the Kaizen philosophy is all about incremental improvement, continuously. So right now, I'm 48 years old. I had to close my karate school last year because of my injury. It was a really depressing time. It was not fun. But now I'm back at my teacher's school. I taught at his school for 25 years. Then I opened up my karate school for 7 years. Now I'm back helping him again. And I have all this knowledge now that I can still share with all the new students. So as I'm there, I'm also paying attention to other things. We're learning new styles. We're learning new techniques. So my 1% every day is that I keep on growing, I keep learning, and I keep sharing my knowledge. So right now, I want you to think that you are not a 7 or 10 or 5 or 3 or like whatever that is. Instead, we're going to shift you into thinking, all right, I'm a version 1.0. I'm version 1.0 right now. Tomorrow, I increase 1% better. And after a year of increasing 1% better every day, guess what? You have a 370% return on your investment. You 37x what you've been doing just by continual compounding return. Just like Rome wasn't built in a day, you know, I wasn't always this handsome. It took a while. Took me to time to train and to build my confidence, because really I think confident people are sexy. I've like one of my clients worries about her weight, and I tell her, all right, do you see Queen Latifah? Is she worried about her weight? No, she is super confident and she's beautiful and she's sexy. What about if you've seen any of the Pitch Perfect movies? There's a character in there named Amy. She calls herself Fat Amy. So she takes away the power from anybody else to call her that. And she is so freaking confident, she just boils over with it. And you know, she tells her skinny choir members in there, you know, even though you're all skinny, you all have fat hearts, and that's okay.
I like that.
And so this mind shift is truly all about now using the power of your mind to make something positive or something that was negative before. You're no longer not healthy. You are continually improving your health. You're not dieting, you're eating healthy. You're not underpaid at your work. You're underpaid because you are overqualified and you can leave anytime. So you are in control of your destiny. You see what I'm doing here? All right, somebody else raise their hand about something that feels negative in their life, and I'm going to help you change that inner self-talk. And that's truly the start of that mind shift, is that inner self-talk. We tell ourselves, I don't want to make too much money, because too much money means that you turn into a bad person. Well, where did you get that philosophy? Well, that's because my mom and dad, they used to fight over money. My dad got promoted, then he started making a whole lot more money, then he started cheating on my mom. Oh, so in other words, it's not the money that was the problem. It was the actual cheating and breaking up your family and destroying your family. And you thought that money was the reason for that. That's why you don't want any more money than what you make. So do you see how our internal dialogue shifts the way we perceive our life? We put filters in front of it. And so then when I coach my clients, I talk to them about how can we change those filters, take them off. Some of you have glasses out there. Here we go. I got my Clark Kent glasses right here, because I'm Superman, but now I'm Clark Kent, right? But I'm still the same person, aren't I? Right? Still the same person. I'm still the same beautiful person, just like you are. And if we perceive ourselves to be beautiful people, confident people, strong people that are continually learning every day 1%, so that we can achieve our goals in life, then nothing is out of your reach. You know, Donna and I were talking about before, like, one of my bucket list goals is that I want to do research on the International Space Station. I would love to do a triathlon. Well, now I've done a bunch of them. I would love to win a world championship. Well, I already done that now. I would love to write a book. Well, my book is done. It's going to get published soon. I have, you know what's fun? I got to show you something cool. You guys know about this, the Martialist movie. That's me right on the cover. And after the success of the Martialist movie, because we did the impossible, we now have a graphic novel series. We have 500 prime copies. There's only like 40 left. I have the last few, so if you're into collectibles or comics, let me know. And there's a Martialist movie sequel coming out. There's the 3rd issue of the graphic novel coming out. I never thought any of this was possible 5 years ago. 5 years ago, I was in such a bad spot because I thought that I had no hope. I thought that because of my accident, that's it, I'm done. My health is gone. I won't ever be able to do karate or do anything healthy again. And instead, I had to break that mind shift by starting to go out and do things to help others. So let me ask you something. What is your goal for your life? Is it to just be super rich? Is it to have more time with the family? Is it about, oh, I'm single, so I want to find the true love of my life? Well, here's the one thing I'll teach you that I think will help you with all of that. If you've seen The Secret, either the book or the movie, you know, it's all about the power of the law of attraction. And people are attracted to people that they are similar to, right? Are you the kind of person that money attracts? I could tell you honestly, 5 years ago, I was not. I was closed-minded. I had scarcity mindset. I was afraid all the time. I had anxiety about my job. You know, I thought people didn't respect me because of the way I talked. But I forced myself to do Toastmasters. I forced myself to do speaker trainings and coachings. I read every single book I could about personal development and business coaching and mindset. And I trained myself. I just outworked everybody. That's all it was. It's not even a matter about how hard it was. I just kept doing it. And now as a result of that, my life has changed. All of a sudden, in the past 2 months, my show went from 1 interview a week to now 5 a week. And I might have to add a 6th a day because I'm that swamped and I can't even keep up anymore. Now people are reaching out to me to ask me to be on their stage. There are people now telling me I should charge $5,000 for my keynote speech. I said, really? I've never gotten that much for a speech before. That would be fantastic. And so it just goes to show you that the person I was 5 years ago is not who I am today. I now attract other people who are aspiring, growing entrepreneurs, authors. They are game changers. They're the people that are thinking out of the box, you know. And if my book is one thing, Unbox Me today, where I've learned is that you have to think out of the box and start to change your life from within. We make this box of fear that we're all in, and we stay there because it's comfortable, because our brain is hardwired to stay in our comfort zone. So as soon as we learn how to get out of that, we break out of that box of fear, and then we become uncomfortable. We're now in an uncomfortable zone. Raise your hand if you've ever been uncomfortable and you don't like it. Anybody been uncomfortable at some time in their life? Yeah? All right. So if you get uncomfortable, if you start to get used to that uncomfortable, like me, I didn't like push-ups. I tricked my brain because I kept saying it verbally. I like push-ups. I took the power away from that other black belt that tried to make me do push-ups and laugh at me all the time. I took his power away. And then I gained a true skill. I started doing 40 push-ups, 50 push-ups, 60 push-ups, 70 push-ups. I did the most push-ups in my grade. So if I can do that with something that I didn't like just by starting to create my own mind shift, you can do the same thing. All right. And one of the simplest skills is just do the 1% every day. Plan it, track it, schedule it. Here's the thing I'll tell you too. Throw out your task list. Throw out your task list. Because what happens on task lists are you get them done and you just pass them on to the next day, and then it's just a longer task list. Instead, think about what is the minimum amount of time that you need to accomplish one thing on that list. And I want you to schedule it and make a block of 30 minutes to get it done. And chances are you're going to finish it sooner than that 30 minutes because you made it into a bigger problem than what it really was, right? So now with our internal dialogue, once again, remember, our internal self-talk tells our brain and our spirit, are we connected? Is this actually possible? Is it feasible? Are we going to be able to do it in the time that we do it? You know, people talk about SMART goals, right? Specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and time sensitive. Let's stick to that T, that time sensitive. If you make a task that has no end date, no finish line, you're never going to really get it done. Instead of that, what we do is we schedule it. And now what gets scheduled gets done. So if your mind was blown just from that, raise your hand. Raise your hand if your mind is blown just from that. Because now you know that task lists don't work because they don't have a time component. You need a time and location to finish so that you have a finish line to get these things done. Sound good?
Good. Right. Super good way to end on time, even though we're over time. Let's say that this was very exhilarating and very coach friendly, and I see that everybody stayed on the whole time and people are on the live stream, and we're so grateful for you taking the time out in your busy day and your busy week to share your wisdom, your brilliance, your love, your story, your heartaches, and also your shining light with all of us. And I just want to thank every single person. I know for the sake of time, anybody who wants to stay on after we go off the live stream, ask some more questions. Maybe Raj, I don't know if you have time, if you want to run down, play the piano, that would be super cool.
I do have a few minutes. I can try to get this on, let me see if I can do this on my phone. Yeah.
What we do, because we record these, try and keep them an hour. So we're going to, and then make it more intimate at the end. People can come on, you could run down, and you don't even have to, you could just go down because we'll be off screen. People would probably absolutely love to hear that song. But I want to just thank you guys. I just have a couple of really great, exciting announcements for you. And actually, Meredith, you're there. Just put in the chat the survey. I would be so grateful for people to fill that out. And also, we want to make sure that our Facebook group is in there. Raj's information's in there. His bio is in there. And there will be the replay coming up on all of our channels here really soon. But I wanted to make note of our guest next week. It's so awesome that she's following you up, Raj. She's amazing. You will absolutely love this woman. Her name is Yvonne Silver. Mm-hmm. And she is, she's a coach. She's an empath. She's a dynamite business person, just a heart-centered, loving human who really uses the power of words to create positive outcomes. And and most of you who know who I am, you know how I feel about words. I write about it myself. But she's super cool. She's on the stage a lot. She's talk about words. This woman will blow your mind. She's awesome, just like you, Raj. So I want to just thank you guys all. See that survey. Just do me a favor, everybody who's on right now. Thank you, Meredith, for putting that in there. Please download the survey, put it up right now, Meredith, so people see it. If you could just click on that, you'd be just helping us so much, bring you more of what it is that you want to hear, what's going to help you rise out of your fear factor into your health bubble and have the most amount of love and good fortune in your life. We will just be so happy if you fill out that survey. I'm going to do it right now because Meredith, I'm not seeing you doing that. So I'm going to put it right here again. It was up higher. So just take 3 minutes. It doesn't even take 3 minutes to fill it out. So I want to give you guys long enough time to click on that. And then we're going to go off the live stream. Hopefully that'll show up in the live stream too. But it would mean the world for us if you guys would fill that out. And you get a special gift too after you fill it out. So Raj, any last parting words you want to give us? You've already given us so much, honey. Is there any last thing? And thank you so much, Alan, for coming on and being brave and
Thanks,
sharing
Alan.
your
Thanks,
story
Alan.
with us.
Mind shifting you, man, brother. Good job. And just, thanks for being brave. 2 dings of the victory bell. And so I'm gonna go downstairs. I'm gonna hop on the Zoom on my phone, and I'm gonna play this for you guys live. Hopefully it streams okay, and we'll try.
Yeah,
it.
let's just keep on. We'll keep on stream, and TJ, who's doing we'll just see if it's good. It's good. It's just staying on. We're on, you guys. And anybody who wants to come off Narc.
I'm gonna hop on downstairs. I put in the chat my freebie every Tuesday at 8 p.m. I have a free masterclass called Speak with Authority. If you want that, there's my email. Just put contact me in the subject line authority, so I know that you want that freebie. There's a PDF workshop that goes through the how, the what, and why about how to create an engaging, impactful speech and how to overcome imposter syndrome. All right, so we ready for some piano time?
We're so ready for some piano time, and we're staying on the live stream. And this is going to go. It's so special. Thank you so much.
So I'm going to show you the bottom of my nose too. Hopefully my nose hairs are not showing. And
yeah. While you do that, I'm going to ask you to put in the stop it video in the chat. You guys, it's 5 minutes that will make you laugh and make everything that we talked about today as far as mind shift and making changes with our lives. I mean, just like that, like how to do it. It's called Stop It by Bob Newhart. And it's funny, and it has helped me and all the clients that I've worked with over the years. I make it a part of a mandatory thing that they watch, because we can overcome adversity. Sometimes it just takes a little push over the edge and realizing it doesn't have to happen in a day. Rome wasn't built overnight, as Raj had said. And he's at the keyboard. He is there. Until we'll wait for you to put that in there, or put that in the chat. That would be great. Okay, Raj, can we hear you? I think you're on mute. Can't hear you. You're on mute.
Oh, there we go. All right, now
Thank God, there's the nose hairs. We love it.
Love it. So, you see everything okay? All right, fantastic. So, as I said before, this is a piece that I composed and I presented last night to the Amarillo Station Singers Broadway concert live at that Bethlehem Baptist Church. It's on my Facebook feed. It's a 5-minute video. It's there right now. It's live, and people have been sharing it because it's all about sharing hope. Because when I publish it, and I'm going to do it soon online, I'm going to have all the proceeds, 100% of the proceeds goes towards the mental health issues and towards suicide prevention. So this is it. Let's have some fun, and just let me know what your honest feedback is afterwards. So that's the gist of it. Hope you like it.
It was so beautiful. We just need a better recording because of the sound in there, but it was beautiful. Thank you so much for sharing that, and really appreciate that. That's the courage part. So maybe go on mute real quick. There's a lot of feedback. Is that you?
That's my son. He's the most beautiful little boy. Years ago when he was a year old.
That's so great.
All right.
Beautiful. You guys, I wanted to also remind you that up in the feed too, this is the last day. Oh no, tomorrow's the last day. Living Like the Future Matters. The ebook's on sale for 99 cents. And like Raj is so gracious with his earnings, all the proceeds from all my art, all the membership, everything that we do goes to environmental and humanitarian causes. And you guys are awesome. We thank you so much. Appreciate you, Raj, so much for sharing again, and for everybody who showed up and stayed with us. Big love. And we are going to go off the live stream now. And for all of you who commented in your feedback, we so appreciate it. And we'll see you all here same time, same place next week on A Dose of Positivity.